Welcome back to my Dark Side GOTB series, everyone. Today we're going to be covering the Phase 3 Special Mission, also known as the Wat Tambor mission. This is probably the most important mission in the entire TB for most guilds, so being able to beat it consistently is very important to help everyone get their Wat Tambors quickly. Now when I decided to make this video, I thought I could use my main account that has some Relic Geos and some strong mods, but I thought it'd be much better to show you all the mission from my alt, which has Gear 12 Geos and very poor mods. I've managed to beat this mission now 3 TBs in a row with zero issues, and I'm going to show you all how to do the same. Without any further delay, let's get started. Now in the mission, similar to the Phase 1 Special Mission, you'll meet elites in both Wave 3 and Wave 4, which are predetermined as well. Both elites are part of a pair, meaning if you get an elite Windu in Wave 3, you're guaranteed to face an elite Arc Trooper and Cody in Wave 4. So now we're going to quickly look at the possible scenarios. In the first possible scenario, you're going to be fighting an elite Arc Trooper in the third wave. Now we have talked about these in detail before, but specifically for Geos, they're a massive threat. The days can end your run faster than anything else, and it's important to prioritise ability blocking any Arc Troopers as fast as you can. They don't have any additional abilities for being elites, but Arc Troopers overall are just as dangerous regardless. After beating the Arc Trooper, you're next going to have to face an elite Mace Windu and an elite Kia Mundi. Now we have discussed Windu before, but I'll quickly cover him again. Each time he hits you, he's going to apply Shatter Point to whoever he hits. If he then hits that target again while they still have the debuff, he will instantly kill them. This isn't a massive deal when he's hitting your Brute, but be sure not to taunt with Sunfac while Brute is alive, as you don't want Windu to hit him unless it's absolutely necessary. Remember, you can also cleanse with Brood Alpha's Summon, Poggle's first special, and even the Droid Summon if you're desperate to protect one of your Geos that isn't Brute from taking that second hit. As for Kia Mundi, he doesn't do anything too special, but he does have a very high damage output. Do your best to remove his buffs when he gains them, as if you don't have a taunt up, he can very easily kill someone important in a single hit, which can complicate things massively. Moving on to the second possible scenario, you would face an elite Windu in the third wave. His mechanics are exactly the same here, so I'm not going to waste time going over him again. After beating Windu in this scenario, you're going to have to fight against a Clone Commander and an elite Arc Trooper. We have already discussed Arc Trooper in the previous scenario, so let's discuss the elite Clone Commander, who I find to be very irritating in general. His elite ability is going to set everyone's speed to 150, and each time an enemy takes a turn, all clone allies will gain 15% turn meter. This is the hardest scenario in my experience, considering it's extremely important early on with Geos to ability block all of the AoEers, especially the Arc Troopers. To help us out early on in this wave, we're going to use the Droid Summon ability while Brute is out, to grant all of our Geos 50% turn meter, which a lot of people overlook. This is a key factor in increasing your win rate when meeting this wave, as control early on in the wave is key to prevent mass days and other high AoE damage landing on your team. So let's talk a little bit about the team you're going to be using. There's no choice here, you're going to be using your Geonosians, and as for the mods and Zetas, it's not too bad at all. My Geos on this account are not modded well at all. In fact, a lot of them have really bad mods in my opinion, so please don't pay too much attention to the mods you see. But first up, we're going to start with the Zetas. So both of this team's Zetas belong to Brood Alpha, the first of which is mandatory in my opinion, which is unique. What this Zeta does is it allows you to start the encounter with Brute already called in taunting, which helps massively to keep the damage off your team in those first few opening turns. It also allows you to keep Brood Alpha's summon off cooldown in case he dies early on. The second Zeta, which is Brood's lead, is nice to have and I would recommend it, but it's not mandatory. It's basically going to increase the damage your Geos deal by 10% for each buffed enemy. So when you have 5 to 6 enemies with buffs, which happens fairly often in this TB, it basically translates to 50 to 60% more damage for your entire team, which is going to help you get the biggest threats down a lot faster, so be sure to get this if you have the Zeta spare. Now on to his mods. On this account I have him modded with some decent health sets with a total of 261 speed. This is the only Geo I have modded well, and this is only because he's often a sub into my Darth Revan Arena team. This is a great benefit as a lot of his stats are shared with Brute, so it increases both of their stats greatly. Up next we have Sunfac, who's modded with some really bad health sets with a total of 146 speed. I couldn't even find a speed primary health set arrow, so I'm having to run a 4-star speed set arrow. Really struggling for mods on this account for my roster overall. Next up is our Geo Spy. Nothing too fancy here, we have a standard crit damage and crit chance set on him with a total of 181 speed. Do be sure to make sure he has an offense cross and a crit damage triangle, as the damage from his first special is going to make things a lot easier. Personally, I couldn't even manage this on this account, so it's not absolutely mandatory, but I would strongly suggest doing so if you can. And next we have our Poggle, who's modded with a horrible speed set, giving him only 225 speed. Try and get some protection primaries on him though, as he's probably the most squishiest character on the team. And finally we have our Geo Soldier, who's also modded with a crit damage and crit chance set with a total speed of 172. Be sure to try and get his crit chance as high as possible, as he's going to gain a lot of turn meter when he crits on assists that will help keep your team's turn meter flowing. So without any further delay, let's get started on the actual mission. As usual with this team, your absolute priority each wave is going to be to ability block all enemies that can AoE. The top priority being ARC Troopers, then Sergeants, and after that any of the Jedi like Vanguard or Kit Fisto. Doing this is key to winning the battle, as the high AoE damage these units deal can easily destroy your team. It's also going to be important, especially once you have killed something, to ability block the medics. The last thing you're going to want is to have finally killed an ARC Trooper to have him revived with almost full turn meter to take a turn. This has happened to me in the past and it's literally the worst thing ever. So as many of you know, the units in this TB have stupidly high tenacity, but lucky for us, our Geo Soldier applies tenacity down on his basic, which pretty much removes all of that. This means sometimes when it's your turn, be sure to use his basic over his special if you're trying to ability block someone who doesn't have tenacity down already. It's extremely unlikely ability block will ever land on someone without tenacity down, so be sure to keep this in mind. So as you can see here, I've just killed something with Poggle dealing the final blow. If you can do this, be sure to, as you'll get the stacking damage boost for your team from him being classed as a dark side GOTB hero character. This is extremely hard to time with Geos though, so don't worry too much about it. As you can see, we have a really good second wave here. We only have the Vanguard that can AoE, and while Shakti has decided to pay a visit, without a full team of clones, she's nowhere near as dangerous as she usually is. So all we really have to do here now is deal with the Vanguard, then lock down the medic with ability block and take him out. The most important rule in this battle for the most part is to remember, if you can keep the AoEers from using the specials, there isn't too much else that can really mess up the run for you. Another great tool to take advantage of if you have it is to use the Tank Platoons ability, which will land tenacity down on the entire enemy team. This is crucial to help with this mission, and should be your guild's top priority to make sure the platoons for this in the previous phase are done, if you're aiming to get as many Wat Tambor shards as possible. You may have noticed I actually had the Vanguard revived then. Honestly, I wasn't putting too much thought into this wave, but it serves as a good example to not overlook the medics. What happened there was I killed the Vanguard right as the medic was about to take a turn, which in turn allowed him the chance to revive Vanguard. Do not let this happen in the later more dangerous waves, as a mistake like that will cost you the run. So we're about to kill off the medic now. In a few moments we're going to speed up the rest of this wave, as there isn't any more real threats we have to deal with. This is probably a good time to talk about the conscription ability and when to best use it. Personally, I like to use it towards the end of the wave if my Geos are not that high on protection, so if something goes wrong in the next wave, my team has a much higher chance of not losing a member. Try to do this so Brute can at least get another turn though, so the cooldown is less if it's actually needed to recall Brute should he die. Outside of this, you should be making sure the rest of your cooldowns are free for the start of the next wave. This includes the platoon tank ability, as this can be a real game changer early on. Be sure to save the droid call ability for the last wave only, as this takes quite a while to recharge. Okay, so we have Windu here now in the third wave, which means we're going to have Elite Clone Commander and Elite Arc in the last wave. Luckily on this wave though, we only have one AoE to deal with, which is the Clone Sergeant. So as long as we manage Windu well and make sure he doesn't start hitting shatter points on anyone but Brute, this should be a fairly easy wave for us today. So we've got the ability block on Sergeant already, which is the main threat. We've got a taunt, so let's dispel that with Brood Alpha. And we should be close to using the tank now. Let's use that and get tenacity down on everyone so we can keep the Sergeant ability blocked and then the medic after he's dead. So we're just going to focus down the medic now. We do have shatter point on our Brute, and I don't think we're going to be able to cleanse it in time before Windu takes another turn. Yeah, as predicted, our Brute is down. We should be fine though, as I believe we have conscription ready to call him back before Windu's next turn. So we're just going to focus on the medic now. Hopefully we can get him down quickly. Here's conscription ready to call back Brute. So now we don't have to worry about Windu for a few turns. So the medic's finally dead. We're just going to focus down Windu now and we're completely in the clear. Be sure to remember when fighting Windu in this mission that if things do go wrong and he lands Shatterpoint on someone else other than Brute, that you can use Conscription and Poggle's first special to cleanse it. And in an absolute last ditch effort, if everything else has failed, you can use the droid summon ability, but try not to use the latter as we really need it on the opening few turns of the final wave. This is because, as I mentioned earlier, while it does act as a cleanse, it also grants your entire team 50% turn meter, which is going to be crucial at times to prevent the AoEers from taking turns before you can ability block them. This is especially more important in this scenario when Elite Clone Commander is present, as he's going to neutralise your speed as well as granting turn meter to his clone allies, so they're going to be taking turns a lot faster than usual. So now we're going to stall a little bit just by using basics to make sure we have as many specials available to use at the start of the final wave as possible. It's going to be tough here as there's likely going to be a lot of AoEers. The good news is though, most of them like the Arcs and the Sergeants will usually use their AoEs on their second turn, so we do have a small amount of room for error. Well, as you can see, everyone getting to go first is going to be hard, which is why it's so helpful that most of these guys won't use their AoEs right away. We have 3 AoEs to deal with on this wave, with Arc Trooper being the most dangerous. So now we've dispelled the taunt on Vanguard, we've got to get an ability block landed on Arc Trooper as fast as possible. We used the tank there to get it done quickly. Now we can try and get an ability block on the Sergeant as well and bring this under control. So hopefully this should do it now. Yep, we've got the ability block landed on Sergeant. Perfect. Now we're going to try and kill off the Arc Trooper as fast as possible because they're going to be going pretty quick. So that ability block is going to fall off pretty quickly. So we're not in a bad position right now. They're just hitting our brute with their basics. No AoEs. But as you can see, the ability blocks have fallen off the Arc Trooper and the Sergeant. We're struggling to reapply them on Arc Trooper, which could be a massive problem. Okay, this is looking bad now, and this could potentially end our run. So we're going to use the droid boost to give all our Geos 50% turn meter. And doing that has essentially saved the run. If we didn't do that, Sergeant and Arc would have likely taken a turn, offloaded their AoEs, landed days on our team, and probably cost us the run. Using that ability with a team of Gear 12 Geos is literally the difference between winning or losing the battle, so be sure to save it for that moment where you think there's no hope left. So we're back in control now. We've got Sergeant and Arc Trooper close to death. Let's see if we can finish them both off as quickly as possible and then secure the win. This should be the end of Sergeant now. Perfect, he's dead, nothing to worry about. Let's see if this kills off Arc. Beautiful. Now we're going to try and kill off the Vanguard, who's the last of the AoEs on the team. So they're just going to keep hitting our brute now. Going to try and boost up turn meter, keep hitting brute. He's completely fine, he can take the hits. He lost his taunt for a few seconds there, but he's got it back, no problem at all. Let's heal everyone up. Keep working on that Vanguard. Let's use a basic. Okay, this should do it now. One last big hit from everyone. Okay, let's use Poggle. This should definitely kill him off now. And we're done. And we're completely out of the woods at this point. It got a little close there at the start of the wave, which I'm pretty sure is where the majority of you lose your runs. Likely to a bad time days from an Arc Trooper. But hopefully that little trick with the droid summon will help a ton of you to never have to deal with losing a run that close to the end again. Just please remember to make sure Brute is out before using it. You don't want to actually summon the droid as he'll take up the ally slot and prevent Brute from coming back. And that's all for today everyone. Hopefully now those of you with Gear 12 Geos can increase your win rates on this mission and help your guilds get some more Wat Tambor shards. Obviously things can still go wrong, but if you followed the advice in this video and even mod your Geos a little better than I did, then you're going to massively increase your win rate. As always everyone, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, join my Discord server and share the video with your friends. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you all very soon.